So to pull it back to the poetry side, and I guess to link it back to me playing Assassin's Creed,
Mhm.
they have these. I guess they're almost like medieval rap battles of two people throwing slurs at each other in poetry form.
Yeah,
Now, is that real? Please tell me that's real.
that is real. That is
Oh
straight
wow,
up. That is one of the realest aspects of the Viking Age ever. Like they,
really?
yeah, absolutely. They would compose poetry that was basically designed to destroy their opponent's honor. That was very common. This is the kind of stuff that you could get outlawed for in Iceland too. If you compose poetry where you accused somebody of being rasrægin, which basically means homosexual.
Okay.
So that then he had the right to kill you just on the spot. But sometimes you would also see that response with similar poetry. Yeah, no, that is a very standard part of the culture at the time. So yeah, medieval rap battles.
I think that's so interesting. But I guess it makes sense, just, and I wonder how often, because I guess, I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I've watched a little bit of like battle raps before. And I guess the ultimate thing is to not allow it to bother you so much that you act out in violence. So, like people can say what they want, but you can't take it too far and go and get physical with it. So I wonder if they also had that kind of limit on it where you can't pick up your sword and just kill somebody because it's in kind of like the rules of this engagement of words.
No, that part is not the same. So, to my understanding, I haven't spent a lot of time researching rap, but as far as I understand, rap was actually created to take off the tension of violence, like being able to duke it out through words instead of violence. And sometimes you will definitely see rap beef getting violent, right? I mean, I guess the famous cases are the Tupac and Biggie and all that stuff, right? If that wasn't the feds or whatever weird conspiracy theories are out there, CIA was involved.
Some people say he's still alive.
Oh yeah, he's still alive. He lives in a hut, like actually right over here, hiding in the mountains. No, so there's in the Viking Age, there's a line you can't cross. Apparently, that's that line where you symbolically strips a man of his manliness by and this is where you will see Iceland, as I've said before, is a different type of society, I think, than mainland Scandinavia, insofar as it is very highly competitive. It's much more competitive than when you go to, especially southern Scandinavia, but even also just Western Norway. Because the lines of like who's in charge are much more blurred in Iceland in this period. So we have these prominent families, great warriors, and so on, competing to become the person in charge of their little corner in Iceland, or even Iceland itself. And this is what culminates with the civil war during Snorri Sturluson's lifetime, and with Snorri Sturluson at the center of it. Right, he's one of the people who loses that civil war. But earlier it hasn't like come to a head yet. So you have multiple players, right? And one of the ways that we can see that is that they are so concerned with their honor, and anybody impeding on their honor, anybody saying that they're not manly enough, because if people can get the message out that you're not manly enough, then there's also a risk that other people will take your stuff. Take your possessions, take your land, kidnap your family. That was a real threat, right?
So you can have a war of words, but if I guess it's if you push it too far and insult someone's manliness or their honor, I guess if they don't then act in a certain way back, then they're kind of proving the lack of their manliness and their honor. So
Exactly.
I guess you kind of get them tied into a situation where you have to act with violence to restore said manliness.
Exactly. So they were incredibly concerned with that, seemingly. But I don't think that was very much the case in the rest of Scandinavia, to be honest. I think this is a very distinct Icelandic phenomenon, and that's probably also why skaldic poetry and then also all this historical knowledge gets to live so strongly in Icelandic culture, and that's what results in all these awesome sagas being written down and all that stuff. There's no comparable literature elsewhere in northwestern Europe. So the Iceland, in that case, is special, right? So something that I would consider pretty bad cultural traits. A lot of violence and dudes who can't take a joke, it turns into a pretty awesome cultural material then that you have in the literature. So, yeah.